yourself again. But it's the only way you're ever gonna learn. You look back and it's all in the past. I'm dwelling on that.
Hi, welcome to NUFC Matters with me, Steve Wraith. Joined by Malcolm today. No Gibbo, he's otherwise engaged. But Malcolm, welcome to the show as always. And let's look back at the Everton game first and foremost. What was your take on that? The Chelsea game, of course, we lost 1-0 and we got a lot of plaudits. We went to Everton, I think, all very confident of getting something and came back with nothing.
Yeah. Yes, just on the Chelsea game, I thought that we really did play well against a very, very good side. And I think it's the worst refereeing non-decision I've seen this season, and probably a lot longer, when they failed to give the penalty. It was absolutely atrocious that VAR didn't step in. It was so blatant. In a matter of about a second and a half, there were actually 3 penalties. One, he grabbed him by the shoulder and pulled him back, and then 2, that he hit him with his left foot, and then there was another stride, and then he came in with the right foot. Never got anywhere near the ball once in all of that time. So there were 3 chances for the referee to give a penalty, and he didn't. He ignored it. It makes me very suspicious, in all honesty, when something so blatant as that, and we know that there seems to be this downer on Newcastle United because of the new owners. And if it's spread to referees, heaven help us, heaven help the game of football. But now moving on to the Everton game, I was just very, very disappointed throughout. It seemed a lackluster team by comparison to what we've seen over the past few weeks. And Everton aren't a good side. They're far from it. And I thought that they were there for the taking. But the one great problem is that we are so lacking something up front, someone up front to hold the ball or to make runs, take centre halves on. It's just not happening. It really isn't. And so if the midfield don't get beyond the back line of the opposition to create danger, then we're not going to score. And I'm afraid that this new centre forward that's come in from Burnley, Wood, he really isn't doing it. You know that you want somebody with who can make himself available, who can look to get hold of the ball, hold possession, bring other people into play with their runs, knock it into their path. We're seeing none of that. Or you look for a centre forward who's just got a massive presence, and so that all you need to do is knock the ball to him or into his path. And he just makes sure that he gets there in front of other people and he goes and does the business. Or you want somebody who's going that way and is making runs beyond the back 4 for through balls. So there's 3 options, and we're not seeing one of those from Wood, not one. And I know that Eddie Howe has really tried to bull him up and what have you. And I think it was as much to boost the player rather than the actual people that he was talking to, all the supporters, that he wanted the message to get to the player. Well, I'm sure the message has got to him, and it's just made no difference. No difference whatsoever. It is very, very difficult for a team to play if they haven't got things happening in front of them from teammates. And Newcastle at the moment, they really are struggling. There are other ways. There are other ways to play, but you probably have to take that man out. And so I think that the manager now, Eddie Howe, he's got a dilemma on his hands. How he's working at it over this long period of layoff before the Spurs game. It'll be interesting to see, because I know he will be a busy man trying to resolve this problem, because it's affecting the whole side. That there is just nothing up there. They can't find anybody just to knock the ball into, because the guy is just not making himself available. And I don't know why. He doesn't look athletic. He looks very immobile, and because of that, he's very easy to mark. Very easy, and so easy that somebody can just come and stand in front of him, and that's it. He's blocked out. So there's nothing forward for the midfield just to knock it into, and so they're always having to go square or back, and that's not what this side need. It's a side that's been created by Eddie Howe to go forward. Eddie Howe's got a real dilemma on his hands, and it does amaze me why Dwight Gale is never involved on the bench, but never involved on the park, and he would at least offer the through ball, making runs for that through ball, which Wood doesn't do. Play the two together, maybe. Lose a man from midfield. It's a bit overloaded at the moment. They're playing 5 players there, so maybe play Gale with Wood. That's what he needs. He needs to have a partner to work with and off of. And then things might change. And the only person in the club who can do that, I think, is Dwight Gale. So bring him in, give him a chance.
How big a part of play did the delay in the game play, Malcolm? The 14-minute delay, the guy who attached himself to the post.
Yeah. It's a time for a side just to sort of reorganize in all sorts of little ways. And it was late in the game. It was 0-0 at the time. And it was an opportunity just to say, right, are we going to go forward and go for it? Or are we going to defend and see the time out? And that, I thought, would be the option, but nothing seemed to change once the game got restarted, and players looked a bit on the lethargic side when it did. It's a hell of a long break to have. You know, it's sort of like having 2 half times during the game, and you need to get yourself going all over again. But then Everton, they suffered the same, but they seem to be a lot more lively in the way they went about their game than Newcastle. And it was it was one time where Byrne, the centre half, he just got caught a little, and just found himself on his heels, and away the player went and knocked it in. It was disappointing. It was a game that I felt that Newcastle was certainly capable of winning, and so that's 2 defeats in a row. They've got an extremely difficult third away match coming up. In fact, it's 4 in a row, I know, but the 2 defeats that we've had, what we don't want is a third defeat. We want to get something now out of the Spurs game to make up for it. Supporters could rightly say, after that Everton debacle, we're owed. Get the points off Spurs.
What do you make of Bruno's performances? I mean, we were talking about him. Would he get a game? How would he get into the team? But obviously COVID and injuries have meant that he's managed to get in there. He looks an impressive player.
Yes, he does. And how to get the very best out of him. And watching the Everton game, I was a little surprised, and more so at myself in what my form of thinking was with regards to Bruno. I think he missed Shelvey. I think that he missed having that sort of deep midfield plat for him to run off, knowing that it was sort of secure behind him. He does a lot of good things behind other midfield players and works really well with them. But I think he needed somebody else where he can, then he knows that when the time's right, he can get forward with abandon. He doesn't have to worry about what's happening behind him. But without Shelvey, he seemed to have that worry that he was going to leave things short behind him if he got forward, and so he was hanging back a little bit too deep, and in the end, other midfield players were too deep, and they should have been taking the game forward more to Everton and looking to attack their back line, but Newcastle really didn't get into their back line at all, and perhaps Wood up front was feeling somewhat isolated in all of this. Maybe he was. I'm not sure, but he was finding the game very difficult indeed, very difficult, and almost to the point where for long spells he became invisible. And that tells me that he's not coping. He's not coping with the level of football that's being played. And so if I were the manager, I would be saying, right, we need a centre forward who is a target man, but at the same time, he's going to get forward. He's going to get goals. We've seen from Wood 1 goal. That goal had him on a run into the box, heading for the 6-yard area. He was on a run, woof, and there he got. And since then, all he's done is got into the box, stood still. Doesn't make those runs, and it's making runs that will give you that inch of space in front of somebody to get your header in, to get your toe in, whatever. And he's done it the once, scored a goal, then he stopped doing it. That concerns me. Why has he stopped doing it? He found, that a centre forward should always be thinking, right, what gets me success? I'm going to do that. I'm going to be doing it all the time. You know, John Tudor and I, when we were out training, we would spend hours every week on the training field just working on how we attacked the near post, far post, and that pretty much the whole of that penalty area in front of the goal. If you drew lines, if you continued the 6 yard sidelines all the way to the edge of the box, that was me and John Tudor. That was our area, and we worked it, and we had constant movement all the time. He'd go one way, I'd go the other, and we'd make it really difficult for centre halves even to get near us, never mind mark us. And so we got a host of goals doing that. One near post, one far post, but it's how you get there. And when the ball is coming in, what you don't want it coming at you. You want it way in the distance so that you can make that run of those important few yards and get your head on it, get your foot on it, get your bum on it. It doesn't matter. Just get on the end of it and propel it goalwards. And I just don't see that from Wood. He's so very stationary. He's stationary in the penalty area, except for that one time where he scored, and he's not learnt the lesson from it. He's very stationary there, and he's very stationary on the halfway line. When midfield players look, they see Wood marked, somebody in front. Come on, you've got to be making movement. You've got to be making a bit of space for yourself, and he's not doing it. He's old enough and been playing the game long enough to know that that's what he should be doing. Maybe he doesn't like it up on his own. He wants somebody alongside of him. So I think that they really should try Dwight Gale alongside Wood. Let's just see what happens. But why the downer on Gale, I don't know. It's a mystery. I'd love to know the answer. I can guess all sorts of things, but I don't know what the truth of the matter is.
Has the trip to the Middle East come at the right time then? I mean, obviously no FA Cup games, a little break. So Newcastle, have jetted off to Dubai for a training session, play a friendly on Friday. Good time to do it and a bit of team bonding. Yeah,
why not? I've always found that they can do a side the world of good, and yes, there is a bonding because you're there 24 hours a day together, you're eating together, you're training together, and then you're relaxing together, and so yes, good bonding, and also what you find, and I hope that this has been happening, that players, when they're relaxing, they'll just start talking about the game, how they're playing it, how can we improve, how can we be better, have we all thought about this, just drop an idea in, and then you can go out on the training field, try that idea out, and if it's successful, great. If it doesn't work, well, let's find something else. But that team bonding, you want to see ideas sprouting from it.
Yeah, definitely do. Okay, we put out a call for a couple of questions with us doing a pre-record today. And Nathan asks, what would be your ambitions for next season, Malcolm? Where should we be aiming to finish?
I seriously think that we should be looking at the very least of competing where West Ham are right now. That's the minimum. And then the season after, certainly Europe. I would be looking to get into Europe. There's a huge amount of improvement still to be done, a greater depth in the squad maybe. There's going to be a lot of coming and going in the summer, that's for sure. And hopefully all of it is for the greater improvement of the team and the squad and the club. And so certainly I would be looking to be competing for Europe next season. And whether we do it or not, I don't know. But then the following season, it's got to be a must. It really must. And once you get into Europe and come on, it was about what was it? About 20 years ago. Newcastle played, I think it was Juventus. The atmosphere was incredible. And you could see the players lifting their game hugely, and so that's what Europe does. It brings not just the best, but something a bit more out of players, because it's such a unique challenge away from your league game, because it's sort of much the same season after season. But then you go and play in Europe, and I used to absolutely love it. That going pre-season and playing in places like Belgium and Italy, France, Germany, and it was such a wonderful experience, seeing different things, new things, picking up the knowledge of it all, and then taking it back home, trying it out, and it's football is a trillion little things that make it and improve it. And those things that you pick up, you take back, you put into the game, and woof, the improvement goes on and on from that. So yeah, I certainly am looking that challenge for Europe next season, get into Europe the season after.
Calvin asks, do you think the ground could or should be moved to accommodate larger stadiums so more fans can get into games? He says, I'm unemployed and I can't afford a season ticket, but I'd love to be able to go to a game sometime, but I can't ever get in.
Well, there's always there's 10% of tickets, isn't there, that go on sale every game. I'm not sure if he's aware of that. But football isn't cheap, is it, these days? It certainly isn't cheap. Now, bigger stadium. There's always been talk, hasn't there, of building a stadium just that bit north of where the ground is at the moment. I don't know. Would the council be amenable?
It's an interesting question. It's something that's going to grow and grow if Newcastle become more successful, Mal.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, it is. Yeah. What? Okay. So, if they're going to move and look to build a new stadium, and if you go and look at the Spurs stadium, you're going to the Spurs game, aren't you?
Yeah.
Right. Well, just go and take a good look at the stadium and how it's configured, how it works, how it operates, Steve, because from what I'm told, I haven't been there, but I've been to Arsenal. Arsenal is absolutely amazing. What people are saying is, as amazing as Arsenal is, Tottenham have actually gone further and they've made it even better. So it is quite a phenomenon of a stadium. So have a good study of it, and you'll come back with a million ideas for the new stadium. But how many people?
Exactly.
What should the board at Newcastle tell the architect to design? 60? Well, that's just a few more than what they have. So do they go 70,000, 80, 90? Just how far do they go? It's an intriguing one. The Bernabeu holds 100,000. I think the Barcelona Stadium holds 110,000. Should we look to compete with them and look to go over 100,000?
Interesting question. One for the future.
Yeah.
One for the future. Last question.
It certainly is.
Last question's from Spenny Mag. He says, which centre forwards do you think will be realistic targets in the summer? And in your estimate, would make a vast improvement to the team with a lot of goals? I mean, Harry Kane is the name that springs to mind. I did ask Alan Shearer this last week.
Did you? What was his answer?
He just raised his eyebrows, which I would imagine you would. I mean, Newcastle spending 150 million plus on a striker. I'd believe it when I see it. But I would love to see. I'd love to see Harry Kane at Newcastle, if I'm perfectly honest.
Yeah. Yes. He has this uncanny knack of just being in the right place at the right time to knock it in, and that's the magic of being a top goal scorer. Just being in the right place at the right time, which Wood isn't doing. But how many times do you see Kane knocking the ball into the net from somebody's cross and he's totally unmarked? That's an art. That is a great skill. And that's what Wood should be looking to do. Find a way to ghost into the area and get onto the ball unmarked. It's a real art and a gift. Dear me. I suppose Kane is the outstanding one in this country, but he's no spring chicken, is he?
He's not, but he would do a job for us, Malcolm. I think.
But I certainly, the fee level, I really wouldn't want to be spending sort of 60 million, 70 million on somebody of his age, and Spurs would be asking double that at least, and also there'd be a reluctance to. I think that Newcastle have got to look abroad, what's the fella's name? He's phenomenal. Is it Lewandowski?
Lewandowski, yes, yeah.
Lewandowski. He is one hell of a finisher.
It'll be interesting if they get the transfer window half as good as they got the January transfer window. I think we'll all be very happy. So
it is really going to be very interesting for Newcastle fans, and exciting.
Yeah,
very exciting, I think.
It is. Okay, as this is a pre-record, and next week I'm not going to be doing any lives next week. So we've already pre-recorded a wonderful show. Newcastle's legend Malcolm MacDonald was also an England legend and scored 5 goals against England for Cyprus. So we have recorded with Gibbo, a chat with Malcolm about his England career. So that is next Thursday. So I will ask you about Newcastle Tottenham. Of course, we return to Premier League action at the Spurs Stadium on Sunday, April the 3rd. It's a 4:30 kick-off live on Sky Sports. All 3,000 away tickets have already been sold. from our point of view, we go down there off the back of 2 defeats, which is something which we haven't had to talk about over the last few weeks. The referee and VAR, well, it's too early to confirm those. But Malcolm,
and will they switch it on?
And will they switch it on? Exactly. But just give us your thoughts on that game. I know it's a little way off as we're pre-recording this, but I mean, what are you hoping to see from Newcastle against Tottenham?
Well, first of all, Tottenham are very much a hot or cold side. They either look fantastic or they look absolutely awful. There's no sort of middle ground with them now. So who Newcastle are going to face, we don't know at the moment. From Newcastle's point of view, it all comes back to what is or isn't up front. I really don't want to go knocking too much, but Wood has got to start moving. He's got to start running the line. He's got to start to look to just to, by a run, make a little bit of space for himself. The only time I've really seen him actually do that was when he scored the goal, his only goal. Having done that, having scored that, he's just not done it again. He's not made that kind of movement again, in the box, out the box. So it's going to be difficult. But personally, I think that he needs somebody up front with him. Put Dwight Gale there, it could work. The Newcastle need to create width. They need to work the lines and look to get crosses in. That way, might get Wood making runs from outside the box to get on the end of crosses. I think Newcastle, they look pretty solid at the back. I know there was a mistake by Byrne for the Everton goal, but overall, I've been very happy with the way that Newcastle have been playing at the back. So I'm quite happy with that. The Spurs will create a problem. Song coming from that deeper position and Harry Kane going the other way, and they can be difficult to mark. But I'm sure that Steve, can you?
I'm going to do the adverts while you go and get the door.
Okay.
Yeah. Big shout out to Spider VPN for all your internet security. Google Spider VPN. They come up at the top of the Google search list. They are the boys to trust for internet security. Big shout out to skipsandbins.com. Telephone 0800 25 45 25 3. Inquiries at skipsandbins.com. Website www.skipsandbins.com. Easy, contract free and pay as you go waste collection. Thanks also to L&G Family Funeral Directors 0191 389 7245 and the Garden of Healing Dispensary, CBD, hemp and cannabinoid specialists, www.thegohd.com. Thanks also to Arcot Interiors for all of your kitchen needs. Google Arcot Interiors. They come up at the top of the Google search list and they can be found on Heaton Road in Newcastle. Thanks also to qtechshop.co.uk, the makers of pool tables and snooker tables in Wallsend, Newcastle, and the guys who run our website, nufcmatters.com. Thanks also to ClearKai. Meet the new Game Over screen. Drop into a ClearRun device near you. They can be found on Apple Store, Google Play, and clearrun.game. Thanks to Jab Signature, jabsignature.co.uk, and Media Arts for all of their video help. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the Newcastle Legends logo in the bottom right-hand corner. You can subscribe for free. Hit the thumb up to like the video. Click share to share to your social media, and drop into the comments box to speak to like-minded Newcastle fans. We're also available as a podcast on iTunes and Spotify and other podcast providers. Usually goes up 24 hours after the show. If you subscribe to the channel, don't forget to go to nufcmatters.com and claim your free car sticker. Just go to nufcmatters.com and you can claim your car sticker there. Go to the website as well to become a member. You get a scarf, a membership card, a pen, and a cup. All details for that on NUFCmatters.com. You can find me and Malcolm at the Dog and Parrot pre-match and post-match. Good bar, good beer, good food, pool table, and kids are welcome. Please make a donation to the food bank, NUFC fans, foodbank.co.uk, in the virtual bucket, which is available 365 days of the year. And don't forget, me, Malcolm, Gibbo, and Holly will be at the Marlborough Social Club on Saturday, the 9th of April. 12 noon kickoff, and it is £10 a ticket from newcastlelegends.com. And last but by no means least, 260dinner.co.uk. If you haven't got your tickets, get them now. The event is looming. It is on the 7th of April. Get your tickets for that now. So Mal, just before the man knocked on the door, just a quick prediction. Just a quick prediction from you for the Spurs game, mate.
Right. I think that they would have been working very hard over this break. So I'm looking forward very much to seeing a huge improvement in things generally. And so I don't think Newcastle will get beat. I think that they'll turn these two defeats they've just had around at Spurs. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
A 1-1 draw. Great stuff. You heard it here first. Slightly shorter show this week. Thank you, though, Malcolm, for joining us, and look forward to seeing you again soon, mate. Take care.
Indeed. All right, Steve. Cheerio, everybody.